everyone, this is Lori, the crafter in the mitten, and today I'm going to show you how to make a journal cover using some fabric. This is going to be the inside, this is going to be the outside cover, some sari silk to tie it, and some cardboard. Well, this is actually more like a chipboard. It's the back of a Ritz cracker box, but this is a heavier duty cracker box. I got bulk amount of crackers from the Sam's Club. And some packaging. This is some packaging left from my Spellbinders Club, the dies I get. So I want to make this a puffy, like a soft cover. And also a piece of white cardstock. So this is what I'm going to put use to assemble this particular junk journal cover. And so I'll be back in a little bit to go through those steps. All right, so the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down this packaging envelope. In case you want the measurements, I don't remember if I said anything about the measurements here. Measurements of this cover is going to be 9 by 6 and both front and back. And then the spine is going to be 9 by 2 1/4. Only reason it was 9 by 2 1/4 is when I cut the box, this is what was left, and I figured that was close enough to 2 inches, and it just worked out. So that's why it's 2 1/4. But it can be any width you'd like it to be. This is kind of a standard size for a junk journal, simply because of using 8.5 by 11 copy paper. So that's basically why I'm doing it, to make it simple. So, like I said, the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down the packaging, the puffy packaging, on the outside of the journal. And I think I'll put the adhesive on this. I'm using Fabri Tac because of this being plastic. I don't know if the other glues would stick very well. Maybe they will, but this way I know for sure. And I'm using this spreader because I really don't want to put my fingers in it. This spreader is, I got it at the Dollar Tree. It's for spreading masks on your face. It's like a silicone. It's like silicone. Anyway. So that looks pretty good. And this doesn't have to be super perfect, because of that kind of glue, it will stick. And plus this gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Now I deliberately cut this a tiny bit shy, because I thought when I wrap the fabric around, it'll give a chance to kind of gradually go in instead of being this real abrupt angle. So go ahead and do the next one. Oh, maybe you might be wondering why I'm gluing them this other way, and it probably doesn't make any difference, but I noticed with this envelope it bends when you do it this way. When you do it this way, you can't bend it. I thought maybe that'll give it a little bit more stability. I did a little bit of work in the background. I didn't do this part on video, but I'm going to show you anyway. Steps are pretty pretty straightforward. So I took a piece of cardstock. I always notice with junk journals if with the paper covers especially, that it cracks here in the seams between here and here. And I thought, how can I fix that? And I've been thinking about this for a long time, so I come up with this idea. I'm hoping it works. So what I did is I took some white cardstock, I cut it 9 inches high, and then I just left it the regular length of the, because it's 8.5 by 11. So I took a scoreboard and I scored these lines. So what I did was I put this on the scoreboard. Maybe I can grab it real quick to show you. Okay. So I put it on the scoreboard and I found the center. And this here says center. So I put it here. And see, this was a little, 1 notch past the 7 and 1 notch before the 5. So I placed this here. I found the center, so I marked it. Found the center with a centering ruler. And then I put that here, and this here, like that. And then I took a scoring tool. I like this one better. This one, well, I ended up using this one and a bone folder. Not one similar to this, wasn't this one. But anyway, so I come down here and in every, I think that's what, 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, so every 1/8 of an inch I drew a line on either side. And then painstakingly kept folding these lines, each line, back and forth, this way and then this way. And then what I did was I took some packing tape and put that on the back side. I took a piece of packing tape and actually cut it in half. And I put that on the outside here to give it some flexibility. So I'm hoping this won't crack. I don't think it will because it's pretty flexible now. But the tape is on there just in case it does. So that's what I'm going to adhere to the book now, or the covers, the front and back and the spine. So I'm going to put the spine on first. So the spine will go like this, because it's going to be on the inside of my book, this here. So I'm going to go ahead and I probably don't need to use the Fabri Tac. I can just use some regular tacky glue, and I completely just ran out of my others, so I will use this. So I'm going to use this tacky glue. It's pretty nice stuff. I think I gotta pull this. There we go. Yeah, I said I'm going to do it this way. Yep. I just got to remember what I said or how I figured it out. So, and I think just regular tacky glue will be fine for this part of it. That too, and I would put the signatures in. I don't want anything to like like this other glue might stick to the needle. I don't know. Just figured it'd be easier this way. So let me go ahead and line this up. And I deliberately cut this a tiny bit shorter. Oops, and I didn't want to put glue at the very center here. I don't know if I can, it's too late or not. Because I want to put one, I can't think of the name of what, but you put this little cord on the top of your books. I can't, oh my goodness, I cannot think of the name of that. But when I get to that part, I'll look it up. Anyway, I'll look it up so you have it. Okay, those pretty lined up pretty well. Let's see, I'm lining up with these lines that I put here. Oops, I gotta watch this other end here. There we go. Now I need to put these down. Oh, this part I'm not sure how far I want the gap to be. This is going to be on the outside of this, but I certainly don't need that wide of a gap between the pages. Let's see, this is me engineering this because I can't stand the cracking. So I thought that, I don't know, that gap's going to be too big or not. Maybe I'll move it up. See how I got 4 lines? Maybe I'll move it up to that 3rd line. I think that will be better to put it up to that 3rd line there. I want to make sure that these are, it's a straight edge there. So let me grab a ruler. That ruler's not thick enough. Sugar beets. I guess I could do it like that. Just want to make sure that that's level. I think this will do. I think I'll do the 3rd line. Or what I was thinking, if I run it up to the other one, then I could make sure to push this down onto the fabric on the other side. I'll figure this out and I'll tell you what I come up with here. So I think I'm going to do it for the 3rd line. Down. And this is going to be a nice sized journal, I'm telling you that. Holy cow. Look at that with that gap here. Oh wow, how long is that gap? It's going to be like doing like a 3-inch 3-inch spine. Well, that's not what I'm intended, but like I said, I'm trying to figure this out. I always just struggle with this. Do any of you struggle with it? If you do, how do you solve that problem? So it's bigger over here. It's not even straight. Oh my goodness. Oh wow, I can still move that. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I can. How do you guys do this? Because it always cracks for me. Well, not always, but a lot of times it cracks. Let me show you what I'm talking about, in case you don't know. I just knocked everything over. See, this is, I usually do this, the paper, but see how it, see how the spine is cracking right there? So you can see it better like that. I don't know if the back is or not. The back isn't. Well, it's starting to right here. And see, I can't really, well, I can't open that up all the way. But some of my journals, I can't open up all the way. And it, anyway, that's the one thing that I'm struggling with figuring out. And so if any of you have an idea how to figure that out, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Okay. Now the next step I'm going to do is adhere the fabric down. I know this isn't exactly even, but we'll live with it. All right. So this is some vintage 1970s fabric. I love the 70s. And I like the flowers. And I thought this would be perfect because it's my personality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere it to this part first before I do this. And then I'm going to fold it and then adhere it while it's folded. I think I'll have better luck. Even though it'll be a little gappy around the hinge. But like I said, I'm struggling with that for some reason. But we will figure something out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this in half. And there's no really upside or downside on this. I'm just going to put a bead of glue down the center. And each edge. And then I'll take my little silicone spatula here and just smooth it out. Try not to make it lumpy. Plus, I'm hoping the glue doesn't seep through. We'll find out. It may. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to swing this around this way. Fold that in half. Gonna drop that down that way. It's about right on each side. Down that way. And smooth that out. I'm not going to press too hard. I just want to kind of smooth it out because I really don't want it to go through the cloth. So far, so good. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I managed to do that. This here's the trick. Okay, so then I'm going to pick this up. My thought is, okay, that'll be perfect. We're going to bring this over like this, but I think I'm going to do these first. Typically I do the top and the bottom first, but I think in this case I'm going to do the sides first. I don't think it really makes a super duper difference. So I thought I'd do is bring this up over like this, glue this down while it's closed. It probably doesn't even need to be closed that far, but goodness gracious, it's going to be a thick cover, but that gives me room. So it opens up, so I can open it up all the way. That's my thing that I'm worried about. It's not so much closing it, it's opening it. Okay, well, let's try. So I don't know if I need to have it opened that far. Maybe I should just put something under there to prop it up. Bigger angle. There. I think that's what I want. Because it doesn't need to be all the way flat. I mean, all the way. Goodness. It doesn't need to be smooshed all the way like that. That's close enough. Okay. Well, here goes nothing. Suppose if this journal's too much of a flop, I just won't show you my video, right? I need to put some glue in here. So here we go. Get over here more. Take this up over here. It shows a little thicker. Oh, that's too thick. Around here. Put that in the seam, or the spine. My goodness, can't think the word. Tack down the spine there. Got my fingers. Now I'm going to do this other side. If this would be the right thickness, oh, that works better. These little boxes I'm planning on doing another project with one of these days, and so you will see that when I get to it. Oh my goodness, this book is going to be so wide. But you know, by the time we decorate them, we get these big gappy books anyway, so it might be a blessing. You know, things sometimes just work out that way. So maybe that's going to be what's going on with this. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to swing this around, bring this up over like this, drop it gently, take it in here, that with my finger here, or brayer it, or whatever you call it. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Oh my gosh, look how wide that is. But you know, that might work out after all. And see, it's got some give to it, if you can tell. See? That's what I want. I want it to be soft to my hand when I pick it up. And these edges need to be done a little better. see. Yeah, that's good. It could be folded over anyway, but I still would like it to be good tack there. Let's see on this side. Probably a little bit more on the edge too, just a little. Actually, what I think I will do, because it's my watch face changed. I hate that. I don't know why it happens, but it does. It's late. See, it's 10:08 p.m. and I have to be at work at 8 a.m. So it's late. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here for today, and then I'll pick up and we'll do the inside. Of course, for you it'll be like 2 seconds, but then I'll do the inside fabric. And showed you quickly when I was introducing the project, but this is going to be my inside fabric. There's a little story behind this. Well, I'll tell you the story when I go to put it in there instead of now. But anyway, I will see you in a few seconds. Bye. All right, so this is dried overnight. So now I'm going to do the next step, which is bringing all this in, gluing it down, and then putting the lining in there. So I want to show you what I did with the lining a few minutes ago. Is I decided I wanted a finish edge, so I did some stitching along this top edge. So, oh, and I also, this is that first part that I did with the tape, you know, for the hinge. But when I put this cloth against it, you could really see the difference. Like, this is pretty much the same color as this cardboard, and see how you see that dark and you see dark and light. That's what was happening on the sides here. So I went ahead and cut some of the cardstock and glued that down. So this is a nice white background. All right, so let's get started. I think I'm going to start here in the center here. And I know I have some extra fabric here, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with that. But I think I want to go ahead and glue this down because it's fabric. It's different than paper. Paper, you couldn't have this much flexibility. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and then I'm going to figure out what I want to do. I probably will snip that and then just overlay it somehow, you know, like the normal, like the little V's. But I don't want to cut too far down because I don't want the cut to come over onto this side. So anyway, I'm going to try to figure that out as I go. So let's go ahead and get started with this portion. So I'm going to go ahead and use some Fabri Tac again. Make sure I'm in frame here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use this little spatula because I really try not to get it to bleed through the fabric. If it does, yeah, it does, but so far so good. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down, and I'm not gluing right here yet. I will come back in and do that a little later. I'll go ahead and do this side. Oh, forgot. I need to cut this here, this little shape. So I'm going to come in through here, just like you would if it was paper. I'm going to leave a little extra right there. So when I bring this up, that tip is covered. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate how far that would be. Sorry, I'm off frame there. Sorry about that. Bring that up. Yeah, I think I'll be okay. I'm going to bring this up over here. I'm going to tuck that in. See if when I bring that up, see how that's going to look. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. All right, so I'm going to take a little teeny dab of glue right here, just the tiniest dab, just to hold that little corner there. So when I pull this up, that stays, I want to tuck that in a little bit. Hold that just for a second. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to I'm going to come in here at this angle. I'm just going to cut right straight across. This side's actually fold a teeny. Put that little bit of glue because I want that tiny corner to stick in there. Hold for a second. Bring this up. Bring it over. This side's nice. This one's got that little bit of fabric showing. See if I can cover that tip. It can be tricky sometimes. I think I barely got it. I'll show you here in just a second. Yeah, I got it. Cool. All right. I don't know if you can see that tip right there. Just got it covered. This side's a little better. I just gotta smooth that down better. This is gonna take a little teeny dab of glue. Swing this over. And again, I gotta do the same thing on these corners. I'm gonna take my scissors, I'm gonna come in at an angle. I don't know how much I would say. I guess I'm leaving approximately 1/8 of an inch from that corner here. So it'll get covered. And I probably cut it a teeny bit too short on this one. I'll have to monkey with that a little bit. Okay, come over here. Maybe I'll leave a little more fabric over here. I think this one will be better. Just wait for a second. Okay. And we'll come under here. All right. Looks good so far. Nice edges. That's what I wanted, was this nice like curved edge. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's kind of curved. Let's see if I can get it in frame where you see how it's just kind of easing over into that edge, so it's not real sharp. Okay, so now I got to figure out what to do here with these corners here. So let's see what we can come up with. So I think I'll tackle this one first. So I think this is going to be needs to be a little V, just like the other corners. Do that there. Cut a little here. Cut that little bit out. Yeah, I think that'll work. Close enough. I know it's not going to be perfect. it's going to be close enough. Dab there, dab that down. This might be the only spot that the glue actually shows on the fabric, but it is clear, so I don't think it's gonna, nobody would notice it but me because I made it. You know how that is. Okay, so let me go over to this one. This one I might just need to do just a little slit, just enough to give it some give. Yeah, I think that's perfect. See, this one I just did a little slit. I can just overlap that fabric just a little bit, and I think that will be fine. Just a little dollop of glue, mainly so it doesn't fray. All right, now I have these two to do. Good, there we go. I think that worked out pretty well. Just need to put the cap on this glue. And we'll let that sit and dry a little bit. I don't usually mind fraying, but I don't really want too much in here because I don't want it showing through that other fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece. We're going to put it here. Oops, I got to flip it over. See, that should cover all the rough edges. So I'm going to need to, of course, this is too long. And I've been messing with this a little bit before I got on camera. So if I glued this down, fold this up and fold this up, I want this to, whoops, goodness gracious. I want this to, you know, come to where it should. You know, of course, we don't want this extra flappage here. So it might be a little interesting to, have that on the outside. What do you think? Get ideas as I go. Of course, I don't want to take the raw edge off. I don't know. That'd be silly. Pull that inside to the outside. I gotta have a think on that. I wonder how that would look. Let me try this. So I'm gonna get this about center. I'm eyeballing it, I'm not measuring it. Move this up here like that. See how this works here. Can't hurt to try it out, right? Bring this up here. That would have just a tiny bit on the edge, and that would have a tiny bit on the edge. I don't think I like it. But what I want to do is I want to give this a finished edge like I did here on these sides too. So I want to fold this under, do a little simple straight stitch. So I think that will give it a more finished look here. Okay, so I'll be back to do that part. I just finished sewing the edges on this, so I want it nice and finished looking inside here. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, so we will have a completed cover, at least for now. And then next we'll be working on the signatures. So let me go ahead and put this down. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to put glue in the center. I'm going to put this, spread it out so it's thin and even. I'm trying not to get it to bleed through the fabric. So far I've had good luck, so this little spatula thing has really been helpful. It's just a cheap little thing I got from the Dollar Tree. It's to put a face mask on with. It's better than using my fingers, so I don't want to use my fingers because I feel like my fingerprint gets covered up and I can't feel anything for a while, and I don't know, I just don't like that feeling of the glue on them. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and guesstimate where the center is, which looks to be about here. Bring this up. Just lay it down lightly so I can adjust. Oops, I guess, guessing that wrong. I need to pull a little over to the right. Looks about even. I think it needs to go over here just a tad. Pull up to the top a little bit more. I think that's about as good as I'm going to get. I'm going to go ahead and lightly press this down. Again, I'm trying not to get glue to go through, so I'm just using this spreader just lightly. It's weird when you use this glue, it's cool to the touch. All right. Let that sit here for a minute. I'm gonna pull this up and I want to make sure this works. Oh, good. I think it's gonna work. This part's easier than doing paper because it seems like every time I line a book with paper, when I go to get it all folded and everything, it's like I always cut it too long. I can never seem to guess that just right. So let me go ahead and put some glue on here on this side. I want to make sure I get this seam for the cover, or the back in the front, back in the spine, front and the spine, whichever. I don't know, this is from the back I'm on right now. It doesn't really matter at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and place this down. Same thing. I'm going to spread from the center outwards. Got a little bubble there. I think it's because of the seam there. A little tiny bit of air bubble right there, just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to swing this around. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of air bubbles in there, but I don't think that's bad because, well, first of all, no one's going to really see it unless you're really looking for it. And two, when I dry this overnight, I can just keep pressing on that. So I'll worry about that later. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and let's get this side here. And make sure I get in that seam there. going to turn out really nice. All right, so this is a little loose on the edges here. So I'm going to go in there and just put little dabs of glue in there. I'm trying to do it in such a way that the glue doesn't come on the outside. You got a little bit on the outside right there. I might be able to clean that up. Get a little handy dandy secret tool out. So I can pull that out of there. Yes, perfecto. Oops, I'm sorry, probably didn't see what I just did. I took this Q-tip, this toothpick, and got some of that little bit of glue that was right there. I just went in there and pulled it out real quick. Check this other side. And that's adhered down pretty good, except for that one corner right there. Just a little dot will do it. All right, so there we go. This is, well, not 100% completed, but completed to this point where I just need to add the signatures. And then if I want to decorate, some kind of decoration on the outside and come up with some kind of closure in that. But I mean, it's finished for right now for this part of the journal creation. So that didn't take me too awfully long to make. I did it over a couple of days, but that's because it was late at night like it is now. And I have to be at work at 8 a.m. I might go back over this tomorrow just to make sure everything's tacked down properly. But it's all really good so far. Yeah, so this turned out really well. I think I'll put a heavy book on it and let it sit overnight. And I'll be back and we'll do the next step. I will come up with some signatures, show you the papers I pick out and such, and my thought pattern behind it. And I'm not sure, I mean, as wide as this is, I almost think it needs to have 4 signatures, but back in my mind I'm thinking 3. See, it's 2 3/4. By the time 2.5 really. It's still 2.5 because if you're not looking at where the actual hinge is. So I still think 3 would be fine, because I think maybe in the end, with this being so wide, I think maybe it's a blessing by the time I put 3 signatures in here, because you know how you like to decorate them and they puff up and you get alligator mouth. Maybe this will prevent too much alligator mouth. Well, we'll see. All right, stay tuned and we'll go to the signatures next.